Hey boss, I'm pretty sure this is me at my peak. Which, meaning I probably fucked something up before the 5-minute mark. Also, that face when inflation increased angry coach fee by $5. Yes, the satisfaction I got from telling you how incompetent you and others like you, not you especially, I'm sure you're very special though, was not worth the investment, and the amount of time it was taking away from me being slightly less terrible and actually playing the game was too much. So, the summary is fuck you, pay me. Moving on. So the plan was to do a Macarex. Okay, let me give you some history. The Macarex is named after a Terran player in early Wings of Liberty named Maca Prime. He was on Team Prime. He would build a barracks just outside his base, and because it was Wings of Liberty and nobody knew anything, they'd assume it was a proxy. And like, people would freak out, okay? Zergs would make like 3 spine crawlers, Protoss would stay in their base till the 10-minute mark, so it was like a big brain strategy. Today, Macarexing a Zerg doesn't make any fucking sense, because 2 options. 1, they're drone scouting, which is dumb in the first place, but and 2, an Overlord will get there after the barracks finishes, and an Overlord doesn't even get there by the time your first barracks unit. Like, if you build a Reaper out of your Macarex, the Overlord hasn't even fucking scouted you by the time the Reaper gets there, therefore invalidating the entire point. Option 3, you just die to Zerglings because you don't have a wall. We'll figure it out. But, like, if you know he's gonna drone scout, which is a dumb move, and you think he has a brain, which is a contradicting statement, then maybe it's a good idea. Despite the fact it's actually still just in your base anyways. But moving on. It's not even like a little bit outside to be mildly hidden. It's just like right there. Oh no. So what are you thinking is going to happen now? Like, what's the best case scenario? This bunker works? I'd say that's the worst case scenario, because now you're going to be microing this bullshit. You have 1 barracks. This isn't like a 3 racks play. You already forgot your orbital command. Like, yeah, the orbital command is a full SCV late. We're gonna build another command center. And then, now we're gonna spend extra time floating the barracks all the way back. Like, once again. So, his first overlord. The only thing, you played yourself. From the second building you built, you played yourself. You're Macarexing someone who can't even see it. You're the only one. Like, you're using the valuable brain power, the very limited quantity you have, to outplay yourself. That's what's happened so far this game. Congratulations. And now here's the thing. Do you want to go reactored Hellions? Well, that's too fucking bad, because you're microing a Reaper in and out of a bunker that's going to die. If you go back to your base and you build a reactor on your barracks, I honestly think it would be better for you if I just turned this replay off right now. I think your win rate would increase more if I just turned it off and said, fucking fix this, as opposed to any of the clown fiesta that happens afterwards. If you do it, don't do it. Also, so there are 2 options. 1, you build a reactor and go reactored Hellions. A full set. More than a full set. The amount of time it takes more than it takes to build a Hellion to build a reactor. So you're already at least a Hellion behind. And for what? 2, you don't build a reactor, and you don't even have a build done. Like, either you have a shitty build, or no build. Those are your options. Shitty build it is, everyone. And that's the, oh, I have a bunch of minerals because I can't build Hellions because I never had a reactor because my barracks was late because I was microing my Reaper because I was building a Mecha Rex against a Zerg who wasn't even going to scout it, trying to hide the scouting information, but just hiding the potential evidence that I have a brain that works. This is the build.
Center upgrade complete. Pretty little add-ons.
Like, this is why you're diamond. Nothing that happens in this 21-minute game from this point matters. Masters players do not do this. You will not be masters until you stop outplaying yourself and at least be pretending to play the other player. Like, this is not a build. This is just a shittier version of a build. Like, significantly shittier. And now we got the barracks, like the second Rex, because there were minerals, but now we don't know what to do with those minerals, so now the cascade begins downhill into disaster. Yeah, back to the chart. But did you see that Reaper micro in the bunker? It killed like 2 or 3 more Zerglings than it would have. And it might seem like I'm really focusing on this, but here's my point. This is a 21-minute game. How many players, Diamond, Grandmaster, or Gold, are thinking about the first 4 minutes in a 21-minute game? Especially if they're like, I thought this was a pretty good game from me. But and to quote, which means I probably fucked something up before the 5 minutes. I actually forgot about that quote. You've got a good point. You're right. But because it's a diamond, eventually if you get back on the path, you'll be going in the right direction, whereas some players never are.
Add-on complete.
Now we've got 2 Tech Lab barracks, which is... I mean... We're gonna get... This might be... I don't know if it's our first instance, but we may manage to get Stim and Combat Shield without having even a single Marine. You might be like Winter, but like he has the barracks. If only he could engineer an alternative solution that would have a long-term impact and not waste his resources. You want to keep those unspent resources at bay, alright? But if you can't find that solution, then I can't help you. Was I subtle enough? Did that make sense? Did I need to spell it out? Get fucking upgrades! Because I'm not, like, at this point, I'm not 100%, like, I was trying to be clever. Might be a bad idea. So, like, you'll see this from competent Terran players. If you're in a position, like, kind of an awkward, for some reason, we're assuming it wasn't you, but for some reason the build's kind of off, the default is just get those upgrades out. If you don't have production, you don't have the ability to have production, at least upgrades give you potentially a power spike later on. Stim and combat shields give you a power strike right as... Power spike, rather. Or strike, whatever. Right as they finish. But you don't get jack shit if they finish with 2 Marines. Was it really worth it to micro these Hellions instead of spend 1,000 minerals? And also, the beauty of it, lose most of them. It wasn't even good micro. Oh, I apologize. Lose all of them. But on the bright side, okay, everybody, deep breaths, deep breaths. We're gonna hold our breath until he actually does something productive. Wait, not yet. We get to the Hellion micro in a moment.
Add-on complete. Command center upgrade complete. Research complete.
I feel like at this point I should just have it on a 2-minute loop. Every time we have anyone Diamond League or below, but it's proprietary information. I'm not supposed to tell people this, but Starcraft is actually a real-time strategy game. It's not a turn-based strategy game. You know what that means? That means you can actually do things while doing other things. It's technically not multitasking. It's just instead of taking 30 seconds microing Hellions, you could go back and actually build units. I know. Don't tell anyone else. Don't let other people in on the secret. Too many people will get to Diamond. Or even Masters.
Research is wrapped up.
The answer is upgrades, and also, now I bet you feel like, also, he could just take this base. He's had this base. You actually got him to freak out, because he's also Diamond. So he took your attacks very seriously. But eventually you'll get a Zerg player who's like, the fuck? He's got 6 late Hellions? I have 4 Queens. I don't give a shit. I've got 64 drones and 4 bases with 1/1 done. And those players will destroy you, absolutely. But thankfully, this Zerg is like, oh, he's building a bunker for a Reaper? He must have a plan. He didn't have a plan.
Research add-on complete.
Put the controller down. All right, put the controller down. Pick up your keyboard and mouse. So that way you can actually scan his base instead of not his base. I like how you fucked up the scan so much, but not quite enough. If you had fucked it up a little bit more, you would have actually realized he had a third with a bunch of drones. But you fucked it up just enough to not get any information of value. That's impressive. This is seeming to be a trend. A whole lot of outplaying yourself. 16, so you know what this tells me? This tells me that matchmaking is working well. If you look at everything right now, matchmaking is actually really pretty fucking good in this game. No matter how much you think it isn't. He managed to micro his way into losing most of his mutas. Whereas you managed to not produce anything that entire time. So, a sick counter. Okay, what did I just see? What am I watching? Supply depots can be lowered to allow units to walk over them. Good to know. Like, I get it. The other SCV was trapped, so we're in that mindset. Like, the other one actually was trapped. I bet that felt like a big brain play, too. It's like, oh, you think my LCV is trapped? Well, let me show him. Okay, so here's another professional tip. Oh, wait, I take it back. Never mind. You're actually using all the production facilities. Oh, I'm like, wow, you're spending your money pretty well. That's because after not spending it for a minute, we're building out of all the production facilities, building a command center, 3 depots, 2 armories, and 2 refineries. I thought for a second you were spending your money efficiently somehow. Okay, I've decided what our painting will be. It's orange, not orange. It's red. It's red. That's supposed to say no production, and I didn't build SCVs half the time, but how do you have so much units? When you're scanning for overlords out of existential fear of mutalisks, instead of, I don't know, doing almost anything else, then you have already, like, you've already defeated yourself over and over. You're just going for the combo now. Between you bamboozled yourself with your build, and then with your micro, and then with your micro, and now, once again, with your decision making. Not necessarily micro, but like, the reflex to scan here tells me we just spent 20 seconds trying to figure out one, identifying the target. Said target, an overlord. Part 2 of this incredible plan. How do we get that overlord with Marines? I know. And then suddenly, the actual threat you were afraid of originally shows up, thus ruining the whole plan. But you did build a lot of Marines and tanks. Okay, so here's my counterpoint. 1, what are 2-2 upgrades? No Terran and Diamond has ever figured that out before the 12-minute mark. 2, what if he rolled down the ramp with a bunch of speedbanes while all your Marines are clumped up on creep? No Diamond Terran has ever considered that possibility despite scanning random locations for most of the game. I'm waiting, like, where is it? Where is his big-ass baneling ball that's going to rip your... Oh, there it is. Alright. See, Zerg is just too strong. Alright, Zerg is just too strong. There was no way after being on creep for the last 90 seconds without producing a single unit for longer than I've ever lasted in anything but StarCraft. Like, there's no ways you can beat Zerg. Okay, did you see how many Marines and tanks there is? Alright, and did you see how they're not there anymore? Zerg is no skill race, alright? Just A move. Easy. You could have had 3-3 done by now. Maru would be maxed out with 3-3 and 5 bases. Okay, let's be a little bit more realistic. I would have 3-3, well, going on 3-3 and 4 bases. You have Fear in Your Heart and 2-2 just starting production. What the fuck is this? How many times do you have to reinstall your goddamn add-ons before they're correctly done so? Yet the idea with the Thor was good originally. You had like 2 Thors in production. What happened to those things? I like how we ping-pong back and forth from not building jack shit into feeling like we need to transition into everything but more units. You've gone from, okay, wait, I need 3 factories and also Whittle Mines and 3 starports. To, okay, we're microing, oh, now give me the fucking battle no. Just, like, don't only have Marines and tanks with bad upgrades and blindly walk on the creep for no reason. Oh, fuck, you're gonna win this game. This is the problem. This game, oh, we're bringing up the timer permanently. This game is 21 minutes long. That means the next 10 minutes are sticking out in your mind 500% more than the first 12. Whereas the only reason we ever get to the last 10 minutes is because the first 12 are such a dumpster fire.
Command center upgrade complete. Upgrades all set.
You're literally caught between a rock and a hard place. You literally set yourself up for this. Also, why do you now have, what is it, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Tech Lab barracks, none of which are producing, by the way, and 0 Marauders? You even have concussive shells for the 0 Marauders you produce. But here's the beauty of this. Because your Whittle memes are good enough, you're probably still gonna beat this army, because he attacked 3 fucking seconds before chitinous plating. Like, those ultras are paperless, and they're going to evaporate in 2 seconds. You could have started 3-3 2 minutes ago. I expect what's going to happen is this army is actually going to kill all this. Magically. Heroically. And then you're going to run up into 4 banelings. Oh, well, that works too. I really thought the Marines were... Oh, wait, is there a Marauder? Do I see a Marauder down there? Oh, wait. Is it... Huh? Oh, no, I thought I saw a Marauder for a second. Okay, get that. That would have been too... That would have made the game too easy. It was part of a Liberator that looked weird. I appreciate the very visual irony here. The Liberators are just in time. If instead of just 12 Marines, you eventually brought yourself to producing Marines. But imagine if you actually built units. I feel at this point I can't come up with any more clever ways to say this isn't a turn-based game. Because I think if it were truly a turn-based game, you would win. Because you seem to know what you want to do on your turn. It's just your turn keeps ending so quickly because it's not a fucking turn-based game. Whittle Mines will eventually win the day because Zerg players forget. Like, he actually has control groups. How many control groups do you think the Zerg has? Oh, he's pretending to use them. That's even more sad then. Okay. This is the part that prompts the message, this is pretty sure this is me at my peak. Because after the Widow Mines do a ridiculous, irresponsible, disgusting amount of damage, because they weren't under your direct control because they're Widow Mines, you actually get yourself into a good position. So what you're trying to say is this is Widow Mines at their peak. And the mines are still there. Imagine if you had built an army at home. It's alright. Was that rapid fire liberation? Yeah, this... Widow's Peak. I'll take it. The classic, well, I made 3 brute. So yeah, by the way, 18 kills, 1 kill, 27 kills, 7 kills, 4 kills. This one, I can't even click on it. 16 kills. I'm pretty sure... Okay, so these Widow Mines themselves have killed like 60 units. Which I think is more than your Marines have done the entire game. Why did you move them? They were doing so well before you touched them. This is the difference between Diamond 3 and Diamond 2. I'm gonna take a guess. I wasn't gonna guess earlier, but you're Diamond 2. Diamond 2 actually builds those other units and gets the upgrades eventually. Diamond 3 maybe learns something resembling a build and then sometimes wins because somehow the other player... Too shit to micro, so you use units that require no micro? He's right. Still a red card, but that is a correct analysis of the situation. And it's a good choice. It is a good choice. This is why no one plays SC2 anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and give that about 4 out of 5 air horns and a red card, because everything he said is dumb past the part where he said okay. Okay. Aw. Congrats on playing a part in the death of a franchise. Wow. So is it Diamond 2? You really laid it on. Oh, it is. I nailed it. Well, every tier of Diamond is both literally in the amount of players and range of MMR as large as Plat League. Like, Plat League has like a 400 MMR range, and every tier of Diamond is 300. So, it's... the whole of Diamond is like twice the Plat League. But yeah. You see, the difference between you and Diamond 1 in lower Masters is, one, they've given up on outplaying themselves. Like, you're not at the point where you can play a strategy game. You don't get to come up with these clever builds, because they're just as likely, if not more so, to hurt you than help. Also, how many fucking times do I have to say more shit counters less shit? Unless that shit is 50 Marines firing at rocks on creep up against Ultras and Banelings. I think I've said that. That's a direct quote. In that case, maybe lean more on those Widow Mines.